Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So Benjamin Netanyahu has met with Trump yesterday in Palm Beach, Florida, in Trump's estate, Mar-a-Lago. I picked up one main topic from that meeting, and that is not about rebuilding Gaza or other moves of that nature, but is about a different story that is related to the corruption that Netanyahu is part of, or I would say the main character in that corruption. I would like to play for you the words from Trump, how he called Netanyahu yesterday. So we're going to look into it. We're going to start the video with this corruption story that Netanyahu is accused of. Of course, he's only allegedly corrupted, right? Surprise, surprise. We will end this video with what is the future going to look like. I don't know if I can say under or during Pax Judaica or Judaica. We say Judaica in Poland. So probably you say Judaica. A few videos ago, I have brought to your attention that professor who was describing how Pax Americana era is coming to an end, and we are entering Pax Judaica, which of course, as I've mentioned in that video, it makes perfect sense as far as the rabbi's mission goes, right? You know what rabbis I'm talking about. And what kind of Chabad? I don't have to repeat this, but I think I will keep on repeating it. Chabad Lubavitch and the vision they have. We will also look how someone will be sharing a story, one of the journalists, about how he was treated by Israel. And this is an American journalist. And I will save the videos as far as Russia goes for tomorrow. So today we mainly focus on Netanyahu and his shenanigans and how he is described by Trump. Before we start, as always, I want to say huge thank you to Hamedech, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, for your donation on PayPal. And thank you to David, who I believe you are actually ordering my book. That is Matilda's and Odo's Adventures. The link how to order it is down below the video. It's a great book for children. I really, really recommend you this book, guys. And I mean it sincerely, not because it's mine. Well, it's hard to be objective, right? But it's really great book. It's unique, it's one of a kind, and has a great illustrations, very inspirational, and your children will absolutely love it. So thank you for your donations. Thank you for supporting my work. To everyone who is becoming my Patreon member, thank you so much. I will be posting certain videos that are, you know, it's all what I'm saying here is already like censored, right? We know this. The channel is suppressed. Some videos are monetized, some videos are partially monetized. That's the reality with those topics. So that's why I will be posting more videos on my Patreon just to make sure that they are safe. But thank you for supporting me there. And thank you to everyone who is hitting thumbs up. It really helps. Even though sometimes they remove those thumbs up after you hit them, that's pretty common. On many channels, of course, not just mine, on many channels. So let's first take a look at this clip, how that trip to United States by Netanyahu looked like. We don't really need the sound for this. So as you see, Israel is right here. Before I play this, or actually let me play it and I'm going to read you at the same time. Plane carrying Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to Florida to meet US President Trump passes through the airspace of three countries' party to the Rome statue, despite an arrest warrant issued against him by the International Criminal Court. So the plane reaches the Atlantic Ocean using the airspace of Greece, Italy, and France, according to flight radar data. The aircraft follows a different route from the one Netanyahu used when traveling to New York in September to attend the United Nations General Assembly. When traveling to New York for the United Nations General Assembly in September, Netanyahu's plane used Greek and Italian airspace, but did not enter French airspace. So as you can see here, he's crossing those airspaces and nothing really happens, right? So someone comment here, LOL, lol, all of these laws mean nothing anymore. Of course, they don't mean nothing anymore. So let's take a look one more time. So here he's over Palermo, Sicily, Italy. He goes to up north to Marseille, south of France, and he's flying literally over France like no problem. French say très bien, right? Very good. So that's how the trip looked like. Now, let me play you a video, and I chosen this video not because of the channel, because that is fake news BBC, right? Horrible. But because of the story. So of course, how they're gonna present him is like, you know, he's a good guy, right? But they describe the story to large extent about this corruption that Netanyahu is involved in. And why I'm playing this to you, to give you a context to those questions that the journalists will be asking in the next videos. They will be asking Trump those questions about Netanyahu being pardoned by the president of Israel, and all those accusations of corruptions to be removed. So we have to know the context of the story first. So let me play it for you guys. The corruption and Netanyahu.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has requested a formal pardon from the President of Israel, Isaac Herzog, over corruption charges. Mr. Netanyahu, who's been on trial since 2020, maintained his innocence, but said judicial proceedings were damaging to the country and hampering his ability to govern. Opposition parties said the Prime Minister should not be pardoned unless he admitted guilt and left politics. Our correspondent James Cook reports from Jerusalem.
For 5 years, Benjamin Netanyahu has battled charges of bribery, fraud and breach of trust. He's battled too for his political survival. Now, while maintaining his innocence, he wants a pardon, insisting the cases against him are tearing the nation apart. Israel, he said, faced great challenges and great opportunities, and in order to fend off the threats and seize the opportunities, national unity was required. The Prime Minister's stewardship of Israel before the Hamas-led attacks on October the 7th, 2023, and his conduct of the war in Gaza since have both been highly controversial. So too has this latest move.
I think that if he would resign, I would be happy to grant him reconciliation. My son was killed on October 7th on the kibbutz, and I think that he should take responsibility for that.
I think basically it was a minor infraction, and it really won't help the country except for people who hate Netanyahu. So I would hope Herzog will agree and that we can get done with all this.
To ask for a pardon without admitting any guilt, without losing any position, without it affecting his life whatsoever, other than that he gets off scot-free, I certainly don't think that he should get it.
Mr. President, why don't you give him a pardon?
Benjamin Netanyahu does have at least one very powerful backer. The Israeli president's office have described this formal request for a pardon from the Prime Minister as an extraordinary step with significant implications and have promised to consider it responsibly and sincerely. But Isaac Herzog is now under intense pressure from allies and opponents of Benjamin Netanyahu. That was clear outside the president's home tonight. The Prime Minister's opponents say a pardon would require an admission of guilt, an expression of remorse, and his immediate retirement from political life. An unconditional reprieve for Benjamin Netanyahu, say his critics, could provoke a constitutional crisis. James Cook, BBC News, Jerusalem.
So again, I never play really BBC because, you know, that's not the news outlet or platform to play, but it was kind of describing the story, right? A little bit. So that question was brought up yesterday again. Let me play you the question from that meeting, Trump and Netanyahu, and the response from Trump, how he is, each time he's answering this question, because it was asked twice, outside Mar-a-Lago when Netanyahu arrived and Trump greeted him outside, and then during the live press conference. So each time he answered that question to two different journalists, he gave another complimentary description to Netanyahu. So let's take a listen, guys.
From a submarine.
What about the pardon that Israel has given the Prime Minister?
A pardon? I think you will. How do you not? He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon? You know, I think it's a very hard thing not to do it. I spoke to the president, and it's on. I mean, he tells me it's on its way. You can't do better than that, right?
So what he said, that how can you not pardon him? Because here is the wartime prime minister who is a hero. I just leave it there. He's a hero. But hero, actually, I will not leave it there. Hero as far as what goes? In what regard? Before I play the second time, he was asked that question, and another response from Trump. I want to say that when I looked at Netanyahu yesterday, he actually looks also very different from the so-called original Netanyahu. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. You get my drift. Strange things are happening. Let me just put it this way.
Because your last remarks regarding the pardon request of Prime Minister Netanyahu, Herzog office told us that you have not talked after the official request of Prime Minister Netanyahu pardon. Can you clarify to us? Did you talk
Which
about
request are you talking about?
with the President Herzog, the Israeli President Herzog? Did you talk with him directly?
President Erdogan?
Herzog, the Israeli
So
President.
you're talking
Herzog.
about pardon?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got to say that. No, I think he's going to be in great shape. He's a wartime prime minister at the highest level. He's achieved tremendous success. And I'll say it, you know, if you had 8 out of 10 prime ministers in his position right now, or before right now, maybe, you wouldn't have Israel any longer. Israel would not exist. I'd say two of them would, and 8 of them wouldn't. Those are not good odds. You needed a very special man to really carry through and really help Israel through this horrible jam. You know, these are major factions, and it started.
I'm not gonna play it longer. Before I give you comments about the body language here. So we have few more phrases, few more descriptions. So he's before he was a hero, but he is the wartime prime minister. So he's the wartime prime minister. He's a hero. He's a very special man, and he was very successful in what he was doing. And when Trump was talking about all of this, you look at this guy. to the left. And he looks like, what? Right? He's like, are you for real? Are you for real? What are you talking about? And by the way, she did mention pardon at least twice, if not 3 times in her question. He just didn't hear it. So she didn't have to say it because she actually said it, but you just didn't hear it, President Trump. So we have the hero who was very successful in executing the Pax Judaica next steps, or the Great New Israel Project. Nice, right? Guys, what do you think? How nice, lovely. Since we are on the topic of Jewish people and the corruption, let me take you to this post. We will still stay within Israel area, but I'm sure Netanyahu is okay with it. So even though it's not directed towards Netanyahu, but let me find it, guys. One second. I have it somewhere here. Oh, here we go. So, how does a Ukrainian man, a close ally of Zelensky, wanted for stealing $100 million of US and EU taxpayers' cash, end up walking around on an Israeli beach? Zelensky's best friend, banker, and accomplice, sorry, I don't know the word, Ukrainian oligarch, Timur Mindlich, has been tracked down, relaxing on an Israeli beach. And this is from the Times of Israel. The date says November 15th, 2025. Legal proceedings expected to take place in absentia against entertainment tycoon Timur Mindlich, who is accused of masterminding $100 million embezzlement plot at estate companies. So it looks like, you know, not only pedophiles, but the corrupted oligarchs are also escaping to the promised land. And don't you think, just now this came to me, if they succeed building this Project Sunrise, this Riviera, right? Where Gaza is right now, who do you think is going to reside in all those luxurious places? And how that life will look like, we will get to that before the end of this video. So they will have much more spaces to escape to, fully furnished, right? Don't you think? Fully furnished and beautifully designed, no issue whatsoever. So not only Netanyahu met with Trump, he also met with Elon Musk. Let me find this post, okay? So let me read you, because this is all, again, connected. Like we always try to connect those things. It's not just a random thing that happens. There is a master plan, we have to remember, and there are steps to execute along the way. Some are military, some are not military, but usually the military-industrial complex is involved in them this way or the other. So here is the meeting with Elon Musk. How did it look like? Let me find the post. It's right here. Netanyahu and Elon Musk link up in Florida as Israel pushes for AI and tech leadership. So here is smiley faces. And Netanyahu says, last night I held a joint conference call from Florida with entrepreneur Elon Musk, Minister of Transportation Miri Regev, and the head of the National AI Headquarters, Erez Askal. In the framework of the conversation, Musk responded to my invitation and Minister Regev's invitation to participate in the Smart Transportation Conference that will be held in March. So probably looks like this might be in Israel. So I wonder if Musk will go to the wall. I don't know, maybe it's not in Israel. Additionally, we discussed the continuation of collaborations with Tesla and the promotion of the law pertaining to autonomous vehicles. I spoke at length with Musk about promoting and developing artificial intelligence technologies in Israel. And I said in our conversation, we intend to catapult Israel and turn it into a global leader in the field, just as we did in cyber and other technologies. And this is very important thing. So keep this in mind, guys. Before I end this video, I'm going to play that professor again that I played for you before. I forgot his name. Apologies, but he is going to describe how all of this is part of that Pax Judaica or Judaica. Now let's go to one more story that's also related to the future, how they are planning that future to look like. Here is a story. One moment. So this is Nokia's CEO who says by 2030, smartphones will be implanted directly into our bodies as a 6G becomes fully operational. So here this post says, think 5G was crazy, wait until they roll out 6G technology. Everything is moving closer to the digital transhumanist agenda. This technology isn't about connecting people. It's an infrastructure designed to implement total global digital control and to harvest your data, now worth trillions to the technology industry. Anyone else find it strange how major pandemics occur right at the same time new wireless technology gets rolled out on a mass scale? So here's the summary. Let's start with the bottom. 1G was launched during influenza 1979. 2G was launched during cholera 1991. 3G launched during influenza 1998. 4G launched during H1N1. What names of those, right? 2009. And of course, 5G launched during Schmovit-19, 2019. So that is the future. Let me mute myself. We're gonna play this guy will say a few things, and then we go back to the next clip.
I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
And one of the important statements we've, I think, made at our most recent developers conference is that we believe that one of the big advantages of augmented reality is actually solving problems here on Earth. And it will be things like having glasses and being able to translate as you speak with glasses. And those are very close.
Holograms will be very, very high quality in the era of 6G. I've already seen 5G based hologram demonstrations. They already work. But then with the next generation technology, I mean, we could be having this meeting so that in reality we would be sitting in different parts of the world.
All right. Well, I've enjoyed seeing you for the last time I'll ever see you in person. I look forward to seeing you at next Davos. Thank you very much to our amazing panelists and a wonderful conversation.
World Economic Forum, right? So now, before we go to the final description of the future designed by, who designed it, right? Well, Pax Judaica future, how it's going to look like. I want to go back to the comments of Netanyahu being a hero. So here is a perspective of that heroism described by one of the journalists, American journalist, who was reporting what was taking place, I believe, in Libya. So let's take a listen, short clip.
2023, I was wounded. On October 13th, 2023, I was wounded in a targeted double tap attack by Israeli forces on a clearly marked group of journalists in southern Lebanon. The attack killed my colleague Issam Abdullah, a cameraman with Reuters, and left my AFP colleague, Christina Asi, who was just 28 at the time, with life-altering injuries, including the amputation of her right leg. Between the 7 of us gathered to cover news that day, from AFP, Reuters, and Al Jazeera, we had decades of experience working in conflict zones. And we made choices that were explicitly intended to keep us safe. Like dozens of other journalists, we had spent the day patrolling the border, monitoring for this feared escalation in Lebanon, where the situation was tense but calm. We set up on an exposed hilltop, visible to multiple Israeli military positions, as well as to the drones that were circling us overhead. All of us were wearing flak jackets and helmets. All of us had press written across our chests, as did one of our vehicles. We had 3 live feeds going out to 3 international news agencies. An audio analysis of my footage that day shows that an Israeli drone circled us 11 times in the last 25 minutes before we were hit. We thought the fact that we could be seen was a good thing, that it would protect us. But after a little less than an hour at the site, we were hit on October 13th, 2023. I was wounded in a targeted double tap attack by Israeli forces.
So that is the heroism executed in that way. I wonder how this man, young man, feels hearing Trump saying that Netanyahu is a very special person and a hero. How that woman, his friend, who lost her leg, I believe that's what he said, how she feels hearing it. So what's the future going to look like according to their master plan, besides the aspect of, Great New Israel? Again, I remind you, a few videos ago, I have played that, I wouldn't say a commercial, I would say it looked like commercial, but that was a video that was describing what that future Ukraine will look like. Okay, it might be completely under a different name, but that was the vision for 2030. So we go back to the professor that I found a few weeks ago, and he's going to describe the differences between the so-called elite, I would say the creatures, the demons, and the rest of us, okay? What they want to create. They're already creating it, what they want this future to look like. Very interesting.
So this is the future that we're looking at. If you're a rich person, if you're a powerful person, this is what you will experience. You will experience longevity, health, and beauty, okay? You will have organ transplants that keep you young. You will have stem cell therapy to repair any cancer, any diseases. You have gene therapy. You have blood transfusion. You have replacement bodies, okay? You will be 20 years old forever. You have great sex. You'll live forever, okay? This is if you are a billionaire. Everyone else? Uh-oh. Well, first of all, you become a cyborg, where you are now specialized for a certain function, okay? They're gonna put microchips in your body so you can become a better accountant, okay? They'll turn your arms into cyborg, bionic arms, so you can be better construction worker. Who knows, okay?
This is the quickest way to go from AI beginner to AI fluent in 2026. Watch.
Microchips inside of you, the mark of the beast. What do these microchips do? They are digital ID and digital currency. And guess what, guys? If you're not happy, they'll know about it, and they'll give you drugs to make you happy. If you think this won't happen? They've already have everything in place, okay? Addictive drugs to control mood. Oh, and like if you're lonely, don't worry, man. That's what AI is for. You have an AI girlfriend and boyfriend, and you know what? Most people would prefer an AI boyfriend and girlfriend, okay? Okay, and then it'll be an individual matrix where you live in your own world. So think of World of Warcraft, but in the real world, okay? Where everyone who's your friend, your entire family, it's all just AI generated. Okay, you live in a perfect world. Okay, guys. Now let's look at how Pax Judaica profits. How they control the world. Well, AI surveillance systems and AI data centers, Israel will become a leader in that, okay? Because for AI data centers to be effective, they need to be safe. Everywhere else, there's going to be wars, right? Not Israel, because Israel has nuclear weapons. So all the major technology companies will be based in Israel in the future. Weaponry security, private militias to protect you if you're at war. Bioweapons and biowarfare, psychological and information warfare. Israel is really good at that. Intelligence, espionage, and sabotage. Mossad is the world's best intelligence agency. Financing, okay? So if you want to go to war, you'll be financed by the Israelis. Trade access, transhumanism for the global elite, okay? This is how, in the future, they will control the world. Does that make sense? All right, but we don't know how much of the world will last because of something called the magnetic pole excursion, and this will usher in something called the mini ice age. Okay? So maybe God is not happy with Pax Judaica. Maybe we know no one can defeat Pax Judaica except God himself. And maybe God will intervene, but not in the way that it says in the Bible. Okay? We don't know. This is all speculation. Believe whatever you want. Okay? So, any questions?
Any questions, right? So what do you think? Will God intervene? I'm smiling because actually I believe that, again, there will be something interfering with the master plan. That's my perception. There's one more video I have to play for you, but I'm just thinking about what he said because I don't know exactly how to say this in English, but I will paraphrase this saying that we humans, right? Like we plan our lives or we plan events or things in our lives, but God has a different plan. I'm just really not saying that quote in the right way. I'm paraphrasing it, but something like that. So let me play this video now that I came across. It looks like it's from 50s or maybe 60s. And it's going to present to you, you know how they, you know who I mean? How they play the victim. And they are very often bringing those numbers of victims in Holocaust during the World War II. So I came across the video that I want to play for you now. That is quite interesting. So did they lie that Hitler killed 6 million Jews? So let's take a listen how two gentlemen are having a discussion and one is presenting the point about the 6 million.
What about the 6 million Jews? Well, one of the easiest questions to take care of, actually, is the 6 million Jews. These people, these Jews, if this were true, the 6 million Jew story, you would have to give the Jews credit for being more clever than the cat for having 9 lives, because there's Jewish gas Jews show up again and again and again all over the world, not just here. The Jewish Encyclopedia, which you can consult, and as you can see in all my literature, lists in 1932 and 33 only 2.5 million Jews for the entire area. Everywhere that Hitler possibly could have been. There were only 2.5 million Jews, and yet he is accused of gassing 6 million Jews in a 2.5 million Jew area. I would be very grateful if the Jews would explain this to me. They've never done it. I think the 6 million Jew stuff is the biggest of all the big lies that has ever been told. And while we're at that subject, let me point out that in Mein Kampf, we hear forever about Hitler's big lie. If you will read and study in Mein Kampf, if you look at the actual book, rather than just listen to Jews like William L. Shirer telling about it, you will discover that Hitler says in Mein Kampf that the Jews are the great masters of the lie, and he says that their biggest technique is what he calls the big lie technique, and he says it's vile. He not only didn't invent it, he doesn't advocate it, he says it is a filthy technique by which the Jews tell an enormous lie, and it's so big that nobody ever suspects them. That's exactly what's going on in our country today.
So those of you who would like to watch this clip again and every other clip, I will attach them down below in the description box. Just scroll down under the video. But isn't it interesting, huh? Isn't it interesting? Is there a description of Mossad, again, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing again, that says, by the deceit thou should win the war, or something like that? So the deception, right? You have to create a deception first to win a conflict. Again, I'm paraphrasing. Because everything is conspiracy. Everything I was talking about today is just conspiracy. Except the man who was a journalist and actually experienced things. Experienced them in real life, right? So that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for supporting my work. It's not easy sometimes, especially for empaths like myself, to go into those topics. Sometimes I feel like I need to take a long break away from everything, all the social media, all those topics, because they are in the long run not really good for you. But again, as they say, the truth will set you free. So we might never know the entire truth, but at least we have some understanding of the reasoning, the dynamics, and there is no point of really watching every single news, because it's actually there to distract you. It's there to drag your energy out of you, to suck your energy, and to mind control your perception and affect your own critical thinking. So I would say, in bits and pieces, a break, your intuition guides you to the answers, and when you really want to know the truth, you will find it. That's how I see it. I live by it. I can say I live by it because that's my personal experience. And it can be lonely road sometimes, as you can see. But you true to yourself, right? You follow your instincts, you follow your intuition, you follow your interests, and you get the answers along the way. If you appreciate this content, it's free of charge. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up. Also, if you want to support my work, the best way is to donate on PayPal or become my Patreon, or you can purchase my book for children from the series of 5. This is book number 1, Matilda and Odo's Adventures, beautiful story for children. And if you have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. Let me show you quickly. It's always easier, so then you remember. One moment. My Instagram is right here. It's Ania K _44. So that would be great if you follow me there. I would like to have 10,000 followers next year. And that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.